Happy summer, Scorpio. Welcome to your June 2021 astrological forecast. The sun in Gemini up till the 19th. Mercury is in Gemini and it's retrograde. Okay, but we'll turn direct on the 22nd. Let me see. Yes. And there's a new moon solar eclipse in Gemini on the 10th. And where you have Gemini is your 8th house. So, it's a money house, right? It's money that you jointly own, kind of, with someone else, a partner possibly, a business partner, romantic partner, family member, whatever. It's jointly held debt and resources, but it's also your own ability to bring in money from some other source other than earning it. Okay, you could win money even. In fact, I would play the lottery around that new moon solar eclipse on the 10th. Solar eclipse, lunar eclipse, all eclipses last for like months, the effect, okay? So it's not like a normal new moon, okay? It's a new beginning in this area. So if you do own property or anything like that with someone else and you're tired of it, you know, you want to sell to them or want them to sell to you or something like that, this could actually happen around this time. Then you don't have to deal with them anymore, or jointly owning something with someone else. As far as jointly held debt, you know, this could be one of those times where you're like, you're pointing out who owes what, okay, and who owns what though also. But on your own, this is the house of inheritances and legacies, insurance payouts, legal settlements, money from legal settlements, refunds of any kind. It's possibly refunds from taxes. In America, we have income tax returns going on right now. It's increased credit if you needed a bank loan, something like that. Money, just money or credit or even resources. Doesn't have to be monetary. So you may be given access to someone else's stuff, you know, if you need to use whatever it is that they have. Even if it's like their cooperation or asking them to help you in some way, even if it's just to put in a good word for you, okay? You know, the Mercury's retrograde here, so you might be trying to get something, money or an object or something or other, that you should have had already. When this planet is retrograde, maybe it's people finally getting it together, okay, to check out whatever it is you told them to, let's say like a bank or something like that, that actually owes you money when they say they don't. Or a credit card company, as far as getting rid of some kind of charge or whatever. Those are small things though. It's just an example of, you know, possibly maybe even hearing about or receiving news regarding money that should have been in your hands, or an object of some kind, and it could be through an inheritance or something like that, but you should have had already, and maybe you weren't even aware that it was left to you, or you were supposed to be on the receiving end of something or other, but that this is a way that you'll more than likely find out. So if you knew you had something coming to you though, and if it was money, this would be the time that maybe you're really pursuing it. And when Mercury turns direct, maybe things really start going your way finally, and people stop giving you the runaround, and they actually give you whatever it is that you were supposed to have. Okay, so the month starts off with Venus in Cancer. Okay, where you have Cancer in your chart is your 9th house. Mars is still in Cancer up until the 10th. Okay, and the sun will move here on the 20th. So this is a fellow water sign. Does really well when, for you, actually creates a nice, very nice trine to your planets in Scorpio. Having Venus here, Mars has been here since like last month, so made you pretty energetic. And let's say ninth house is many things, but one of them is travel and communications and publishing and media. It's legal matters and higher learning, or learning anything, even if you're learning on your own. And it's foreign anything, foreign people, foreign countries, foreign languages even. So your interest has been in this area, for like since last month. This is also the house of adventure. So maybe you were actually looking for something like that. If you weren't able to travel at this time, maybe you were making some kind of plans to do something or other. But having Venus here brings a lot of very pleasant interactions with people, let's say, who live at a distance or may possibly even in another country. If you are learning something at this time, even on your own, it's something that might not benefit you. It'll benefit you personally and not professionally, more or less. So whatever it is you're learning, it could be something beautiful or some form of art, or even some old way of doing something, something from the past, like blacksmithing or something like that. You know what I mean? A trade of some kind that is very unique, but it's interesting to you, and you're not more than likely aren't trying to make money from it, but whatever. Venus, though, also brings about long distance communications. Let's say like a long distance romance or something, something like that along those lines. That really starts to pick up when the sun moves here on the 20th, though. So you would have more contact with someone at that time if you were involved with someone romantically, let's put it that way. There's a full moon in Capricorn on the 24th in your third house. That's where you have the sign of Capricorn. It's directly across from your ninth house of Cancer. And around that time, you could probably get some kind of phone call or email or even regular postal mail regarding something pretty important to you. It could be a pretty big deal. It could be like regarding, I'd say, a legal matter, maybe even in regards to some kind of contract or arrangement or agreement that you may have with somebody. It could be if you have family, if you have siblings or cousins, they could be contacting you about something. Could be in regards to family, but it could also be, I'm going back to the inheritance legacy thing, or property or something or other going on there. Maybe everybody's just trying to put their cards on the table and figure out what should be done. If it is something like a legacy and it is involving some of your relatives. Okay, so Mars actually moves into Leo on the 11th, and Venus will move into Leo on the 27th. But for now, you'll just have Mars in Leo in your 10th house of your career and your outer persona, how the public views and speaks about you publicly, how you're known by reputation, professionally and personally. Okay, so it's how you're known by reputation for your livelihood. But if you don't work, or you're retired or something, that still stands there, because people would go by what you used to do for a living. But if you're retired, or again, you don't work at all, you're still like in the limelight for some reason or other. Having Mars here kind of makes you go a little bit, get like a little bit aggressive after a position of some kind. If you are working, it would be like within your company, or a completely different position, a new job entirely. If this is personally, it would be some kind of status thing. Just rubbing elbows, let's say, like with celebrities or people who are important, even if it's just in your own community. It's a time, though, too, where you could be on the receiving end of some kind of recognition, or you are seeking recognition for yourself, either for work that you've done, or just some kind of accomplishment that you've made that it does deserve some kind of acknowledgement. Okay, so Jupiter is in Pisces. Very briefly, okay, where you have Pisces in your chart is your 5th house, and it turns retrograde on the 20th, and Neptune is already in Pisces, and it turns retrograde on the 25th. So you have Jupiter and Neptune traveling in your 5th house of romance and creativity, speculation and gambling, children, amusements of any kind, sports and games, and just having fun. If you were involved in anything creative, and I always say film because celluloid is a Neptune thing, Neptune ruled thing, okay? And Jupiter and Neptune together kind of create a very dreamy-like quality in any kind of art work that you're doing, or anything creative. It has I think I mentioned this before, a Salvador Dali kind of Picasso even effect to it, okay? Same thing though in your relationships. If this is in regards to romance, you may have along suspected that if you've been seeing someone for a while that they're not telling you everything about themselves, and then Jupiter comes along and maybe you're getting along a lot better than you were, and then it turns retrograde and then maybe this person clams up again. But it's up to you to decide whether or not this is like an interesting thing, mysterious, enough to hold your interest, or do you have other opportunities coming in to your life as far as romance goes, and even a creative project. You have past opportunities coming here with Jupiter turning retrograde, so in all areas. And I will have to say, when I did tell you to play the lottery, you might want to keep in mind that a number, if you play, pick your own numbers or whatever for lottery, a number that has already recently hit, and that's why you're not playing it, you should still play it, because there's a good possibility that it will come back. Okay, it will repeat itself. So don't give up on a number. If your number came up and you weren't playing it, okay, and then all of a sudden you want to play it, but you figure it's not going to hit again, don't do that. It may, a lot of times they repeat themselves when Mercury is retrograde. Okay, plus you have Jupiter retrograde in the 5th house of speculation. Okay, anyways, the best time to do something each month is when the moon is in your own sign, and the moon is in Scorpio on the 20th, 21st, and 22nd. The best time to lay low is when the moon is in your opposite sign, and your opposite sign is Taurus, and those dates are the 6th, 7th, and 8th. The best time for romance, recreation, creativity, fun, any kind of speculation or gambling, and anything to do with children is the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 16th, 17th, 28th, 29th, and 30th. The best time for money is the 8th, 9th, 10th, 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. The best time for your career is the 13th, 14th, and 15th. And the best time for communication and travel is the 11th, 12th, 13th, 24th, 25th, and 26th. So I'd like to remind you to subscribe to my channel and click on the bell, the notification bell. You'll be notified each time I upload something. Check out my, there's a link to my video Mercury Retrograde in the description box below, along with Ask Me a Question. You might want to check that out. And there's also a link there to my website if you would like to have your personal chart done. And also check out my weekly forecast. And I will see you next week. Goodbye.